Hello, Do Stamping at Home Club members. How you doing? I'm doing great, and I'm excited to share the April 2021 Home Club projects with you. Now, we have 3 projects as normal. The first one that I'm going to demonstrate is the Stenciled Butterfly Wings card that features using dies to create a stencil. All right. And then the next card I'm going to share with you is this card. I'm calling it the clear block stamping card. And these blocks of color were created by using a clear block. So that's pretty cool. And then the last one we'll finish up. This is super cool. This is a card that I found on Split Coast Stampers. It's a community, online community that shares a lot of stuff. And it's a fun fold. So it lies flat here, but when it opens, it becomes a vertical easel card. Pretty cool. Now, if you're familiar with an easel card, they usually lay like this. And so this would probably obviously go this way, but this is kind of a different twist on it. And who shared it? Wendy Lee shared it on Split Coast. I totally cased her. I mean, completely, which I normally don't do. I usually make it my own, use my own different colors, usually a different stamp set, but hers was so gorgeous. I'm just like, let's go with it, right? So that's going to be our final card. Now, after you place your order, you will receive this in the mail, and this is your kit this month. It has all 3 of them listed here. So I'm going to take everything out. You will get the stencil to create the first card that I'm going to talk about, okay? So when you open these up, this has the gorgeous grape. That's going to go with that first card, the stencil card. And then this is Sahara Sand. That's going to go with our vertical easel card. And then our last one should be Old Olive, and that's will go with our clear block stamping card. All right. So that's kind of, I kind of recommend kind of sorting them like that. And we're going to go in order of the projects listed here, and they're the same order that's listed on our project kit site. All right. Which has photographs and detailed instructions, the supply list. So if you're like fall in love with any of these, then you can get them and have them in time to make your project, or you can substitute different and similar styled sort of images. And I'm actually going to share an idea for you on how you might want to use your stenciled butterfly wings card if you don't have the stamp set. All right, so let's get started. Okay, the first one is the stencil card. So let's just kind of lay everything out. Now, the Butterfly Brilliance is the name of the stamp set. And when I say set, it's actually a single stamp. It's like a background stamp. Let me just move a few things out of the way here. I'm going to put the stencil up here. I'm going to go ahead and open our package, our envelope. So you can see you're going to get a piece of ribbon. You're going to get 3 rhinestones. I'm going to lay that on my envelope. And then inside are the pieces that you need. Now, bonus. So in order to create this stencil, it is only one. Are they in here? No, they're here. It is only a single die, just like that, okay? So when I cut it, obviously all 6 of these butterflies also cut out 2. So I thought, well, what the heck, I'll just give those to you guys too. You can do whatever you want with them. You certainly, if you have the stamp set, you could arrange them in back into these and stamp them all at once. If you don't have the stamp set, you certainly can color and create your own butterflies for different projects. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm actually going to pop that into the envelope. Okay, and then you'll get 2 white panels. One is for the inside of your card, and one is the one that we'll use for the stamping and stenciling. And then this is for your greeting. And I'll talk about the greeting later because we're using a different stamp set for that. So for now, I'm going to set aside all of that. And we will, now, because of the big size of this, now we sell a clear block that is the big size that will work on this, but I kind of find these a little bit easier to use with the Stamparatus. They're not as unwieldy to use than the big clear block. So we're going to go ahead. Nope. Sorry. I'm like doing this backwards. Okay, so we're actually going to stamp it first. And I didn't set this up so that I would stamp it in a particular location, but so we're gonna just, that looks good. But you can see I already have some image here, so I know that, oh, that's not a bad idea. You could just stamp it first. I've done a few of these, so yeah, let's do it there. So some of the images are going to hang off, which is totally fine. And then we'll use this in strategic places just to help it stay down. Let's see if they won't get in the way. Let's double check that. Nope, that one does. There we go. Ooh, pretty darn close, Dawn. So just down a smidge, and I think, oh, look at that. Now I gotta move this one down a smidge. That's okay, we'll get there. Yay! And then this one back out a smidge. That's all right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our stamping first, okay? And then we will do the stencil second. Now, certainly if you had this all lined up just perfectly, you could do it the opposite, okay? But I find it easier to do it this way. So let's get out our gorgeous grape. Now, if you don't have the stamp set and you're not convinced to get it after this, then you wouldn't do the stamping at all, okay? And that means that you would skip this part. Here we go. And go straight to the stenciling. And I'll talk about some options you could do with that. Now, because this is such a huge image, I just want to make sure it's really getting all even surface. And of course, because we're using the Stamparatus, you don't have to worry too much about it because you just ink it again and do it again. But look, it's beautiful. It's perfect. Love it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull this off. And because I don't have my extra, oh dear, I always do that. So do you ever do that where they stick together? So first of all, be careful not to do that because sometimes they break in half. How do I know that? Because I do. And so I'm just going to set them aside for now. There's usually a magnet on the side that'll stick to. There we go. And I'm going to move this in the center, and I'm going to use a little bit of adhesive. Actually, probably 2 of them. And I'm going to make them less sticky. All right. I don't want this to ruin my piece. I just wanted to use it as something that'll stay in place. Okay. So when I use the stencil, like this, I want to make sure I have it. There we go. So once I get it to where I want it, I'm actually, before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of this in each of the corners. Because as you start to sponge, you will notice that, there we go, almost super close. There we go. you will notice everything start to kind of shift if you don't have it anchored a bit. I could even have put just a smidge, like in this area, would have been nice, but it's okay. Now we're going to change out our ink. So that was Gorgeous Grape. Now we're going to go to a lighter purple, which is the Highland Heather. I'm going to remove my plate, my apparatus, so I don't get ink everywhere. And we're going to use a blending brush. Now, the blending brushes have been on back order, but they're supposed to be in on the 12th, April 12th. So if you got one, yay! If you don't have one, and you don't want to order one quite yet, though they come in a 3-pack. They're super soft. They blend beautifully. I'm loving them. But if you don't have one, you could use a stamping sponge. What I've never really liked about a stamping sponge is I don't get a nice blended look. And so I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm using kind of a round circular motion. I'm going to use that same motion on here. I'm going to see how heavy my ink is. So that's the other thing I like about this. See, it's kind of nice and soft. If I want more on there, all I have to do, see, you're going to be surprised. Like when I lift that up, see how beautiful it already looks? But let's say you want it a little bit darker. No big deal. Just add more. There, that was smart of me. Geez, use this. That was really smart of me. I'm like, sometimes. There we go. I'm going to put the other one down here. Voila. I guess now I would recommend doing this on the Stamparatus so everything stays in place. The beauty of this stencil is that I would write save at the top, and then you can just use it again. So you can see I'm using that circular motion to add the color. And we'll just keep doing the whole thing here. And it's just, I just was so thrilled with this. Stampin' Up! Actually had a sample. It was a smaller card. It was like a 4x4. Well, I think the card was the same, but the panel was a 4x4 sort of thing. And I'm like, let's do the whole card. Okay. So let's say I want to maybe come in and make some of these areas a little bit darker. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And then let's remove it and see what we got. Let's put these where they belong. Oh, it did it again. Wow. Don't, see, I show you what not to do. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. Okay, so like I said, if you don't have the stamp set, what I would recommend, you still can use the stencil that I provided with you, and you could just blend, use a blending brush or a sponge and do all of it one color. Or you could do a color here and maybe the same color down here, and then do these two a different color, or all 6 of them you could do a different color, and it would just be like a fun background. So you have some options. All right. Of course, my favorite is this one. Now, another thing about the blending brushes is I can just take this to the sink and rinse it out. Now, it might have just a little bit of a slight purple stain on it, but it's not, it's only stained. It's not anything that will transfer to anything else. So that's how I clean them. But this hugely dense sponge. So that's why you're not getting, so with a sponge, you know how you get kind of more of a little bit of a spattered little look, and you've got to work a little bit harder to get that blended in. Yeah, see how quick that was for me? That was really nice, wasn't it? And that's because of this. So blending brushes, they come with 3 in a pack. And as of tomorrow, they should be available to order again. Yay! All right, so that's our inside. This is going to be our outside. And then this is the stamp set I chose for using the greeting, happy birthday. So you want to look for something if you don't have this set, though it's a super cute set. And it happens to be my free PDF tutorial this month. So everyone is going to get that. So after you place your order and I send out my thank you, you're going to get this PDF that has 10 different ideas on how to use this stamp set with the bundle of the punch, which is very cool. I don't have that with me right now. So we're using the happy birthday. Like I say, if you don't have that, you're looking for something maybe a little bit wider of an image and a little bit longer. Now, I left this area clear because you're going to come in with the bow. Now, this bow, this ribbon is retiring. It's a purple, tricolor purple ribbon. And I will just, maybe I'll do the bunny bow. So if you're not into bows, sometimes the bunny bow is a little bit easier to do. I just made my loops, I cross them over, and I come on through. So that is what the bunny ear bow is, how you do it. And then we fadoodle a little bit. And then pull it tight. There we go. And then I'm going to trim this off. Oops. See, this is the ordinary sponge. Wow, that was that was interesting. Actually, I think, wow, I'm wondering, I think these might be retiring. They come like this big, and then you cut them in half, and then you cut them into wedges. Interesting. Now that my brain is working again. And then you're just going to put it on with a glue dot. You'll adhere these two together, and these will pop up with dimensionals. Okay, and then you'll finish it off with those rhinestones that I showed you. I put one that dotted the eye, and then I put the other two down here because I like when they make that visual triangle. It just really looks nice. So that's what that looks like. Isn't it cute? So let me clean up a little bit and we will move on to the next one. So what do you like about this? If you had to choose to maybe make it a different color, even though I gave you a purple one, what color would you use with your butterflies? You can leave a comment. I'd be curious to that. Oh, I wanted to show you the rest of the butterfly wings dies. So you've got that big one that cuts out just the solid images, but you've got detailed ones included as well. So this is a great variety of die images as well. Now, you're wondering, I haven't seen those in the catalog. And that's because they are not. They're special that's going on. It's a sneak peek special. And the item numbers are in the project page. So if you want to get that right now, you can. It will be in the main catalog coming May 4th. Yay! I know, it's so exciting. Okay, so next, let me just move one more thing because I do not. There we go. I didn't want to get my ink from that butterfly stamp all over everything. All right, next we're going to do this card. That was the clear block stamping card, which just fell on the floor. That's all right. So this is what we're creating with our clear blocks. So moving some things around. We're going to use Pear Pizzazz, Flirty Flamingo, and Daffodil Delight. Those are the three colors of the blocks, but you'll also need a black. Memento, this is the Tuxedo Black. The stamp set is the Dragonfly Garden. This is from the current mini catalog. And this has a punch to match the dragonfly, but I'm not using that on this card. So let me get some things going. Now the block that you want to use, this is Stampin' Up's block. It's B. the letter B. So it's one of the smaller ones, and what was that? Oh, I have the measurements of it. So you got to be careful when I say the measurements of it. So even though the block is a certain thing, it's only going to, because we have the rounded edges, it's only going to stamp kind of more the inside of the block. So that's what I gave you, was the measurement of this. So if you have other clear blocks, you can look for something that's similar in size. Okay, but it's the only size that you need is this one. All right. So let me show you how I did this, and also I'm going to show you some ways to kind of test your ink. So in here we have our Old Olive card base. We have this cute little ladybug trinket, super cute, and this is the Mossy Meadow braided trim. And in here are two panels. One is for your inside and one is for the stamping. So I've already got one ready, but I want to show you a couple things. So we're going to go ahead. This is just what I call testing. I did a lot of testing because I tried to find like the right color combination and the right shade of it. And so I did some things stamped just regular full strength stamping and some stamping off. So let me show you. So this is Pear Pizzazz. I did try Old Olive, but for me, it was too dark. So I'm just going to stamp these like next to each other and stamp off. So this is what you get with the full, and this is what you get with the stamp off. Now, I wanted it, so it's going to lighten up as it dries, but that's what it's going to look like. So here's another thing. You can see that it's all kind of speckly. If you want less speckles, you'll still get speckles. You can use the Stamping Pierce Mat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this. But each of our pads are like, yours might be drier than mine or might be juicier than mine. So that's why I suggest maybe you want to test it before you go and stamp the real thing, if you want to call it. Okay. And then I'm going to do the Flirty Flamingo. Make sure I cleaned this. All right. Flirty Flamingo. All right, so I'm going to turn this way just so we can fit. This is full strength. So first of all, you can see that because of the mat, it's like more dense. I kind of breathed on it to, yeah. So for me, this was the color I was going for. I just couldn't find it full strength in any other color that we had. So I stamped this one full strength, this one stamped off. But again, depending on your own ink pads, this is why I suggest testing. And also you can kind of see the difference between stamping just on a regular surface and stamping on the Stampin' Piercing Mat. And then the last one is the daffodil. Clean this one more time. Okay. We'll do it this way again. So full strength and less strength. So for me, I liked this, this, and this. Okay, full strength, stamped off, full strength. It doesn't matter though, it's your card. So whatever it is that you like the best. So I would only caution you that why I went for things that this could have worked too. So that's not too bad. I wanted something a little bit lighter so that when this was stamped over it, it would pop. Okay. So let's set this all aside because I have this all ready to go. And I'll make one more tip. So you can see that I stamped this in landscape, and then, so like this, and then I turned it and did this one in portrait, and then I did the last one in landscape. Just thought I'd mix it up a little bit. So let's go ahead and mount this beautiful kind of wildflower image. Okay, and that, I'm using, this is block I, one of the larger ones. And I'm going to go ahead and get that on there. Okay, then I'm going to also, let's see if I can find that scrap paper again. We'll use this one. Should have been more prepared with my grid paper. That's all right. So the reason why I want to test this is that sometimes, I don't know about you, but my tuxedo black can dry out a little bit fast. I think that's normal, but I never know kind of where the status is of my ink pad. So this one, I can see it kind of glittering in the, not that it is a glitter one, but I can see it. So I am going to just test it just to make sure. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that on here. So we'll get this all inked up again. Okay, so the other thing I want to recommend is, you know, when you do this kind of stamping on here, it kind of soaks the paper, so the paper takes a little bit longer to dry than normally if you're doing regular style of stamping. So I do recommend letting this, you know, dry nicely before you add this image. This image could like maybe spread just a smidge. And I'm actually going to turn this because I find it easier to hold this image just like this. So I want it to cover all three. So that looks good. And it's a big image, so I'm going to let it rest on there and let that ink transfer really nice. And voila! Ooh! That's even prettier than the other one. I love the way that turned out. It's beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so the next thing is you want to choose one of the many. You've got several images here to choose from in terms of sentiments. So you'll, I'm choosing For a True Friend. Now, I'm not sure if this is mounted straight, so let's double check that. Love the grid paper for that. So what I do when I do these kind of mount things, I use the grid paper and line it up at the bottom of my edge of my block. And then I see if I have this mounted right. Ooh, I do, it's perfect. So I don't look at the way it's mounted here. I make sure that it's mounted parallel with this edge. So then what I do is I come in and I make sure that this edge is parallel with my bottom edge or whatever edge I'm working with. So let's see if it works. You're probably going, it's gonna be crooked, and I'm gonna say, no, it's gonna be perfect. See? That stuff makes me happy. So that's my tip on mounting, because sometimes that sticker is a little bit off, and actually my sticker is really off because I didn't put it on very nice. So that makes up for when we all have those little issues with the stickers. All right, so to finish off this card, you'll just adhere it to your card base, and you will tie a bow into your cute little ribbon here, which is right here, and you'll put that on with a glue dot, and you'll put this on with a glue dot. How cute is this card? And you could crank out a few of these in no time at all. So I hope you like that fun little trick stamping technique for that. All right, so moving on. Get some things back in order here. Here we go. All right, last project. So the fun fold, the vertical easel fun fold. That's what we're going to work on next. So let's get this little ladybug out of the way. Okay, so I have the scoring done for you, but I will talk about it. So this is just the regular score fold, at 4 1/4 because this is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. But you want another score fold that scores this front in half, and that's 2 1/8. So score at 4 1/4, 2 1/8. And that's just if you want to replicate this card. It's already, the scoring's done for you. We're going to decorate this right away. And we're going to go ahead and put the panel inside as well. So let's just do that real quick. That looks good. Okay, and this, so these two products here, this is Sahara Sand, by the way. These two products, the ribbon and the designer series paper, is from the, I want to say, True Love You Always. Okay, it's the specialty paper that's right here. It's Love You Always specialty designer series paper. You get 12 sheets, but you only get 3 patterns, but you get 4 of each of the patterns, which is kind of cool. And each of the patterns has this kind of metallic-y sort of printing on them. So that's what we're using today. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and put those 2 panels right here. Okay, so that's going to go here. And then the next one. So if you have trouble with the new adhesive, you can see what I'm doing is that I'm pressing down, but not super hard. So that's just something I had to learn, is to use a little bit lighter of a touch, but I'm also kind of giving it a bit of a check mark. It doesn't need a huge one, just a little one. Okay. And there we go. All righty. So we're going to go ahead and set that aside. We're going to set aside for now. Well, actually, no. Let's go ahead and fold these in half. Get my bone folder. Here it is. These are 1 1/2 inch circles. And that was a punch. The punch is going away. I'm so sad. So this is a nice size punch. If you don't have it, I highly recommend getting it. So we're just going to fold those 2 in half. We'll set that aside for now. And then we have these 3 stitch nested labels dies. So let me get those out and let me show those to you. All right. First, I'm going to grab everything else. This one has a little more pieces to it, if you want to call it. Okay, so this is the dies. You get 9 dies with it, of which 8 of them are these nested label dies. Okay, we're using 3 of them, and what I call is 3, 6, and 7. So starting from the left, you know, for the way that I've positioned mine, actually I'm going to position them all together like this. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. So number 3 is this one, okay? So if that's number 3, this is number 4, 5, 6, we're using this one, and 7, okay? So those are the ones that we're using. I'll just leave that there for you guys to see that. Okay, we'll go ahead and put these back, and we'll do a little stamping on them. Okay, we're going to stamp on the smallest one and the medium size one, okay? And we're using the Fine Art Suite. The stamp set from that is the Art Gallery. Now, we're not using the dies that go with that. It does come as a bundle with these dies here. These obviously cut the flower images. This cuts, let's see, Just Want to Say, and then these images are like a smaller label, and they're designed to fit all of these kinds of little sayings in there, which is kind of nice. We are going to be using You Are Lovely and Thank You. All right, put that aside, but for now we'll do our floral stamping. I think I need another piece of, I'll grab this one. So this is another one where I played with the image. Now this is the one from Wendy Lee. Like if you don't have some of these colors, this is Blushing Bride Terracotta Tile, which is retiring. It's an in color that retires this year. So it's on the list. I would recommend playing around with it. So again, depending on your ink pads, dryness or juiciness. So that is my Blushing Bride. But if I stamp off, that's more what I'm looking for. Okay. And actually, I want to bring in that pad again. So for photopolymer, which is like the see-through clear ones, I do recommend using, and we'll just keep this on here like this. I do recommend using the pad. You're going to get a more even image. Okay. Now the two-step on this that gives you some depth is the terracotta tile. Okay. That's pretty dark, and you're going to do it on all 3 blossoms. So you can see here, that is not giving me the depth that I want, but I wasn't sure if I wanted it full strength on these either. So, ooh, that's not bad, but let's see what it looks like stabbed off. Ooh, so that's just it. So I put in the instructions, I put for definitely stamp off your Blushing Bride, and the stamp off on the terracotta I showed as optional. It all just depends on what kind of look you want to go for, okay? So let's go ahead. Just clean that up. I should have just cleaned it in here. What was I doing? So we're going to go ahead and just stamp that real quick. And this is my lighter one. Yep. Stamp off, stamp on. Okay, and as long as I've got this one in my hand, you're going to use it here too, on this teeny little one. You're like, really, Dawn? Yes. You're going to just put a little bit. So here's what we're doing. Okay. So this is just like this, roughly. Okay, I did stamp off on that. There you go. And then we'll come in with the two-step. I'm going to go ahead and close this because I'm the worst of getting things in the wrong ink pad. Stamp off. Oh yeah, I like the stamp off version better. Put that there. Oh, I stamped it on. Well, this one's going to have a variety of it. See, you know, in the end, it probably just doesn't matter that much. So we've got these two. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. And you're going to see that this is going to look a little different than the image itself. So I need basic gray, which is right here. And I need the thank you. I'm done with those. Okay, so here's the thank you. And you can see that it is all one line where I'm using it as 2 lines here. So let's make sure that I have everything in the screen really nice. So I'm going to just do the very edge. This is what I love about photopolymer. Now I want to make sure I didn't get any on the YOU. So I'm just wiping that off. But, so like if I turn this a little more at an angle to make sure I get that K, I'm going to go ahead and do thank. Sorry. I'm like, if you're anything like me, I'm like, oh, I hope this works. Yay! And then you'll clean it off. Okay. And you'll turn it just to ink up the U, Y-O-U, there, and then turn it back upside right, and I'm going to just stamp it like this. We're going to justify it to the right. Look how nice that looks. I love that. Then you're going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on that. And those are, oh, right here, perfect. And because this is what's kind of anchoring our card to stay up, I'm going to go ahead and put 3 of them on there. We'll just set it aside for now. And then on this, we're going to put the ribbon on, okay? So the ribbon, so what I recommend about the ribbon is, sorry, this ribbon is, I want to say 3/8 Blushing Bride Metallic. Okay, and I want to tie it all the way over to this side. So I kind of want to get these fairly even on the side, and then give it a twist. Okay. All right. Then we'll make our ribbon. Excuse me, our bow. Push it in. Oh, I'm all thumbs today, it feels like. Oops. Oh, can I catch it? I can. Yay! There we go. There. Well, kind of sort of there. Yeah, something's not right. What did I do wrong? No, we can fix it. Everything's fixable, right? There we go. Now, if you're not a huge bow tie fan, you could like just do the bow instead of wrapping it around the whole thing. You could just tie the bow itself and stick it on with a glue dot, okay? But you really do need it as far over to the edge as you possibly can get it, okay? Because this is going to sit on top of it. And see, and that's not even, it really has to be like on the edge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. And I'm going to put one here and one here because that's, my bow should fit in roughly there, okay? Yeah, that's all of them, okay. Oops. Because that still will allow me to move the bow if I need to, because I don't want to adhere it down. There we go. Yay! There we go. Okay, now to finish this piece off, where did it go? Here it is. No, that's, well, in your kit is included this. This is the classic label punch. This is also retiring. So what do we got retiring? We've got this, this, and this. These 3 items are retiring. So if you're interested in getting them, you will want to do that as soon as possible before they sell out. All right. But somewhere on here, maybe I don't have it. Somewhere on here was my, well, a lot of good that does. I had a piece that was already, oh, here it is. I found it. So I already punched mine out. And again, this was done with the stamp set that came, that's part of this. It has lots of greetings. And Sahara Sand, and it was basic gray. So I want to put some dimensionals on here. If you have mini ones, that might be a better choice. They might fit a little bit better. I don't have mini ones right in front of me at the moment, unfortunately. Well, it's close. It's close, or you could cut the ends. That's another thing I like to do, is just cut the ends off the edges of this. And this goes here. Okay. Now let's put this together and see how it finishes off. Okay, I'm going to move this and move some things out of the way. So these are the things we need, and we need this as well. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to put adhesive only on one side, and they are going to sit right here. Okay, so we're going to start with that. I want to get adhesive on my thing there. Adhesive. In fact, if you have what we call the Seal Plus, that might be a good choice because you need some strong adhesive. Another thing you could use is if you have tear and tape, that is a possibility too. So we want to put these right next to each other, right in the middle. Okay, so they butt up together. They are going to essentially kind of what I'll call ride the rail, and that rail is this. See how they, and so I'm going to actually fold it and take your bone folder and give that a good burnishing so it stays. Same with the other side. That adhesive really sticks to it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put adhesive on the other side. Okay, dokie. And then that's how you put these on. Okay, so make sure your bow is where you want it, because once we do this, that's where it stays. Okay, so this is going to stay flat. And the easiest way to line this up is knowing that here's the tip of that and here's the bottom of it. And that should be good. Give it a really good pressing. And voila! Isn't that cool? There you go. It stays up like that. So let's go ahead and put this on. This is the inside, and this is what makes your easel become an easel, actually. Otherwise it'd just be a fold like that. So I like to just kind of like go position. Do I want it standing about like that? Yeah, that looks good. Deep, deep. Okay. Voila. Very cool. Applause. But that applause really goes to Wendy Lee. She did a fabulous job with this. I don't know if this was like her original design or what, but she did a fabulous job sharing it, and I'm thankful for that. She's a friend of mine, actually. She's on a couple groups that I belong to. So there you go. Pretty cool. So, oh, do you want to see one more thing? I have a sneak peek to share with you. I know. So, like I mentioned earlier, the catalog, the new catalog, is going to come out May 4th. And as demonstrators, we got a sneak peek, well, more than a sneak peek. We got a select list of products that we could order from. And one set of those products was the new ink colors. And I know if I was holding a class face to face, I'd be showing you guys this. So I thought, let's take a look. Yay! So here you go. So first of all, I have them in my storage thing here, and I will just pop it up a little bit. I don't have all my labels on yet, but you can see that blends. Now, the blends come in the combo, so you get a dark and a light, and there is all 5 colors. I just have the other 2 sets in my rest of my storage. There's Stampin' Right markers, which is not sold individually. They're in a pack of 5, and then there's the ink pads. So they can be purchased individually or in a set of 5. So let's take a look at them. These are really cute colors. So we've got Pale Papaya. We've got Polished Pink. We have Fresh Freesia. Still hope I'm saying that right. Soft Succulent, and Evening Evergreen. So let me lay them out here for you. Aren't they pretty? Yeah. They're very pretty. I like them. So, of course, we have cardstock, ribbon. Oh my gosh, I'm loving the ribbon. So if you have been a Stampin' Up! Customer for a while, couple celebrations ago, they had that kind of, it was kind of a little bit of a satiny. It was lighter in the middle, and on the edges it was a little darker. Yeah, that's what they are. They're so cute. We have designer series paper that goes with it. That's a pansy paper. I know, really cute. Oh gosh, a few other things as well. So I'm very excited about that. If you are like, oh my gosh, maybe I do want to be a demonstrator or a hobbyist. I got lots of people on my team as a hobbyist. If you thought about ever joining and being on my fabulous team, you are invited to join. And if you wanted to get your starter kit this month, you can also get these and a handful of other products that they've made available to us. So let me know if you want to chat about it. I'd love to chat about it with you. Otherwise, I'm happy to have you be a customer of mine. Oh, one other thing. So demonstrators that are in my team, so let's say you're a current club member, you would still be in the club. You would just place orders from yourself instead of me. So that's how that works. Okay, so when do we have next? So our next one, so this is April, May, June. So June is our next one. We've got a few people. I think that's their last month. So think about if you're renewing. I've already got some people renewing, and so that I can make up the new host list. All right. I think that's it. Oh, one last thing. I heard that, like a little birdie told me, April 13th, I think. So that would be Tuesday. The clearance rack is going to be refreshed. So if you haven't placed your order yet, you might want to, get your list ready and place it right away on the 13th, because those clearance rack items go fast. So you could have your order all set and then get it all in and then check out the clearance rack real quick, and then you can check out. So I already had someone emailing me that said, oh, I forgot to use the host code. Don't worry about it. If you use it, great. If you don't, that's fine. I can call Stampin' Up! And get it added. Just don't use the other host code that I have on my site. If you're going to use a host code, use the one that I emailed you. So I hope that all makes sense. You guys have a fabulous spring. And wow, June, yeah, summer. Oh, it's going to be summertime. Next month, I actually get to go to Hawaii. I know, finally. So my Stampin' Up! Trip is Maui. Last year we missed it, but they moved it forward to this year. So I'm very excited to go. I'll have my vaccine all done by then, and hopefully be safe and less anxiety about going. So, and that's all because of people like you who are such loyal customers. I just so appreciate everything that you guys do for me. So thank you so much. I'll let you go. Bye now.